Hello and welcome. Ever feel a little lost trying to figure out the garbage rules here in Izu City? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. But don't worry, stick with me for the next few minutes and we're going to make it all super simple.
Okay, let's kick things off with something you never want to see on your trash bag, the dreaded yellow card. It's basically the city's nice way of saying, nope, we can't take this. But seriously, no need to stress. By the time we're done here, you'll know exactly how to make sure you never see one of these again.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the 3 golden rules, the absolute basics. Then we'll dive into your everyday combustibles, get a super quick guide to recycling, figure out what to do with bulky items, and finally, we'll talk about those special items the city can't pick up.
First up, the fundamentals. Honestly, if you only remember one thing from this entire guide, make it this section. These are the 3 golden rules for handling waste in Izu City.
Rule number 1 is the big one, the most important of all. You have to sort your trash. Seriously, everything else builds on this one rule. Putting the right stuff in the right place is the foundation of the whole system. It's totally non-negotiable.
In this picture, it shows you the 2 main streams perfectly. Over on the left, you've got your combustibles. That's the stuff that gets burned, and it goes in that special yellow bag. On the right, you see recyclables, all neatly sorted. They take 2 completely different journeys, so getting this first step right is key.
All right, let's zoom in on that yellow bag. This brings us to rule number 2. For combustibles, you must use the official Izu City bag. And see where it says Izu Taro? That's just an example, of course. You've got to write your own full name right there. And rule number 3? It's all about timing. Your trash needs to be at the collection spot by 8 a.m. on the right day. Not 8:05, by 8 a.m. sharp.
Okay, let's get a little more specific with your most common trash, the combustibles. So what exactly is supposed to go inside that yellow bag?
It really breaks down into 3 main categories. First, you've got kitchen waste, food scraps and stuff like that. Second is dirty plastics, things that are just too messy to recycle. Think about that food wrap that's covered in sauce or a styrofoam tray that's stained. And third, it's for all the other little odds and ends that can't be recycled. And for that kitchen waste, here is the best tip I can give you. Squeeze out the extra water. It's so simple, but it makes a huge difference. It cuts down on the smell, makes the bags lighter, and actually helps the incinerator work better. It's such a small action with a really big payoff.
Okay, this next part is super important. There are a few things that must never, ever go in the combustible bag. I'm talking about any metal, batteries, and especially those heated tobacco products. And why is that? Well, they can actually spark and start major fires at the waste facility. So this isn't just about being tidy, it's a serious safety issue.
All right, let's move on to the fun part, recycling. This is where we get to turn our old trash into treasure and give it a whole new life. A little effort here really does go a long way.
Think of this as your recycling cheat sheet. For plastics, just make sure they're clean. For PET bottles, you're going to pop off the cap, peel off the label, and give the inside a quick rinse. For those white food trays, they have to be spotless. No stains allowed. Paper and cardboard? Easy. Just flatten it and tie it up with paper string. And for any other cans and bottles, a quick wash of the inside is all you need. See the pattern here? It's all about making sure things are clean.
And here's a perfect example of what that looks like. Those trays on the left are perfectly clean. That's the goal. And see how the paper pack on the right has been rinsed, opened up, and flattened? It's these little steps that make all the difference and allow the whole system to work.
So, what about the big stuff? The things that are definitely not going to fit in a bag? Well, that brings us to bulky waste, or as it's called in Japanese, sodaigomi.
The rule for this is actually super simple. If you have a single item and its longest side, doesn't matter if it's the height, the width, or the length, is more than 50 centimeters, then bam, you've got yourself some bulky waste.
50 centimeters. That is the number you need to burn into your brain. Just remember, half a meter. If you keep that measurement in mind, you'll never be confused about what counts as bulky waste.
Now, getting rid of this stuff does cost a little bit. It's 150 yen for each item you bring to the center. But hey, I've got a great little pro tip for you. If your bulky item happens to be made of metal, like say an old shelving unit, you can take it to the recycling center for free. Absolutely zero cost. It's a great little money saver.
All right, we're on the home stretch now, our final section. We're going to cover the really tricky items, the things that the city's regular collection just isn't set up to handle.
For some items, you just can't put them out with the regular trash. It's a big no-no.
We're talking about hazardous things like pesticides and gas cylinders, or really big, specialized items like pianos and car parts. For these, it's actually your responsibility to get in touch with a specialist to dispose of them properly and safely.
And that goes for another big category too, major home appliances. Your air conditioner, TV, fridge, washing machine, and also your computer. These all fall under a special recycling law. Basically, they have their own separate recycling system and the city won't pick them up. You have to arrange disposal through the store where you bought it or a designated recycler.
And there you have it. You're pretty much an expert on Izu City's waste rules now. So the only question is, after all this, what's one small change you can make today to help keep our city looking beautiful?
You know, following these rules is really about all of us pitching in to keep Ikazua a wonderful place to live. If you ever get stuck and you're not sure about something, the best thing you can do is just ask. You can always give the Environmental Sanitation Division a call. Thanks so much for tuning in, and happy sorting!